and important benefits that I have found with emotional intelligence is that no matter what happens in my life, no matter what is not working out, I have to keep my initiative. I have to take my next step. I have to keep that motivation going. Not expect that the world gives something to me without my own involvement. You know, so how can we take initiative and help ourselves is one of the most important features of emotional intelligence.
I am Atul Mishra from the Entrepreneurship Cell, VSET. Currently, more of us are spending time at home, and many of our regular social activities are no longer available to us. Social distancing is a key norm in the pandemic, adapting to this new normal way of life. But this has led to short term as well as long term psychological and mental health implications. So, in light of importance of mental health, ECEL VSET welcomes to you the first speaker of the day, Ms. Ritu Malhotra, the founder of Ajna Center for Learning. She is a life coach, counselor, and a metaphysician. She founded Ajna in 1987 and she has been practicing and teaching for over 25 years. She shares her experience with clients in a simple yet a very constructive manner, empowering each of them to make a difference in their own lives. She employs a revolutionary approach to the traditional psychotherapy methods. So let's now hear from Ritu ma'am herself. And over to you, Ritu ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I was
yes.
saying that I'm glad that it's early and not like Indian stretchable time, which, we just go on and on and on. So,
That happens.
of course, I'm extremely happy to be here today and talk to all of you. I will be speaking for a short while, for maybe about 15 or 20 minutes. And then I would like you to ask me some questions and we can have a discussion. I would rather speak
Yes,
on,
ma'am.
talk about, academical, information. So, we are talking about something that is extremely important, as you have said yourself, that the situation as it is today, it warrants us to look at ourselves and our environment in many different ways than we never did before. So we are talking about something that we need to really focus on in many ways. Um, it is really important that we look at mental health in a multi-dimensional way. Just like the planet that we live on, that's multi-dimensional as well. It's We are multi-dimensional. We are body, we are mind, we are spirit. So what we are going to talk about today is so important that I wish that someone had told me these things when I was your age, but I had to learn it myself. But here we are today for you, fortunately, that you may start your life already considering the importance of mental health. So, yes, I am supposed to speak on mental health today, uh, but I want to talk about the effect of it on all levels of our being. Uh, you cannot separate mental health from emotional health. And that means that we have to look at our feelings very, very carefully and keenly. Uh, and feelings is something that we are not taught to look at really, but it is important because that is where we share, that is what is common with the whole world. We share feelings the same way, no matter what age we are, or what stage of our lives we are, or what culture, what race, what color of skin, or what status, all over the world. And that is what this pandemic has brought home to us very, very keenly. So, just as feelings are common, there is a certain intelligence that we all have. Now, this intelligence, and you know about that because you're all meritorious students, you are in this wonderful engineering college. So, you must have a very high level of IQ, I'm sure. But what we are also talking about is multi-dimensional intelligence, which means that intelligence is not just intellectual or academic, it is also emotional. So our IQ is one thing that we all know. You all have very high IQs, I'm sure. But the emotional quotient or the emotional intelligence is equally important. What we have seen in so many surveys is that people, of course, who have high IQs perform and get great jobs. But it is the people who have a high emotional intelligence that seem to perform better a lot of times than with just high IQ. And that is because they have a very high level of emotional intelligence. Now, it is a known fact that a high IQ will get you a job. You, especially getting out of this college, are definitely going to get great jobs. But it is your emotional intelligence that will get you a promotion. So it also is a very important fact that, intellectual or your IQ remains the same from the age of, say, 15 to 50 years. But it is the emotional intelligence that you can change. You can increase it. You can you can really expand your emotional intelligence as you grow. So you can learn to change whenever it is that you know how to do that. So what is this emotional intelligence that we are talking about? First of all, I'd like to begin with acceptance. When we learn to accept whatever is going on in our lives without judgment and without resigning to our fate, like, say, the pandemic is happening, there is so much infection all around, so many lives have changed because of this. Now, that is not really in our hands, but how much we accept what is possible in our hands is what is going to be left with us. That is what is going to make it effective for us. So acceptance is a very, very big part of people's lives who have this emotional intelligence. Then while we are going through a change in our lives, like, say, the pandemic, for instance, we need to keep ourselves motivated. That motivation of oneself is, I think, the criteria here. That no matter what happens, let me look at how can I do better, or how can I find another alternative, or what option do I have? That keeps us in a motivated space. And that really helps us get out of feeling resigned to our fate or feeling helpless. Then there are many opinions we get around us. Everyone has something to say about us. And some of those criticisms might not be very nice. So how do we manage criticism when someone disagrees with us, or when someone says that we are not good enough? How do we handle and manage this criticism? Criticism may create a lot of self-doubt within us. Yeah, we need to go back and see whether this criticism really is helpful, whether we need to change something and learn from it, or whether it is that we need to trust our abilities more. we probably need more skills, or we need to learn something else. That really helps. So we've spoken about the acceptance in emotional intelligence. Then we've spoken about motivating oneself, and then managing criticism, which is to stay away from doubting your ability. Yeah. And then as we recognize our own emotions, we need to recognize another's emotions as well. How do other people feel? Which is what makes us more empathetic. We understand that we have also felt like this. And maybe someone else also is needing help, or they are behaving a certain way because of the way they feel. So we try to go underneath a person's obvious behavior, and we see how they are really feeling. Hmm? That helps us handle relationships, and that, I think, is the key to emotionally intelligent people. See, we are here in a web of relationships. This whole world is relationships. This whole matrix that we live in is a web of relationships. We came here to not be isolated within ourselves, but we came here to share, to learn, to expand those connections that we are gifted with in this life. Okay, so as we become aware of these uh, uh, benefits of emotional intelligence, we become more reliant on ourselves. I begin to trust myself more. For instance, they had a survey some time ago, I was reading about it, that, they interviewed a lot of self actualized people, and I mean self actualized people who are very successful in their areas of work, artists, musicians, heads of corporations, etc. And they found that there was two things in common amongst these people, and that was that they had a very high risk taking ability. When something happened or wasn't happening, they jumped forward to try something else that they didn't know much about, but they thought that they would learn from their experience. Yeah. And whenever there was a crisis in their lives, they looked inside for a solution. Yeah. Not the fact that they would blame what was happening outside in their environment, or that they would look for someone else to do something for them, but that they trusted themselves. They looked within, because literally all solutions live within ourselves if we care to look, and we can learn that. That's a skill, it's an emotional intelligence skill. Another thing which I find, that when we become more emotionally intelligent, we have a personal sense of effectiveness. Our focus becomes more, certainly. Our mind doesn't wander as much. And we are able to accomplish whatever we set out to do. For instance, we can manage our time much better. We can manage our frustrations much more. Like, for instance, life didn't get me what I wanted or what I dreamed about. All right, let me focus and go inside and see, what is it that I can do right now? Who can I learn from? Where could I go? What could I do under the circumstances? So this frustration that we may give into very easily, because we want things a certain way, which life just hasn't given it to us just now. So that's where the same acceptance that I was talking about comes. Instead of resigning and becoming helpless and going to a place of no choice, we can discover, where is choice in my life? What are the choices or options that I may have? Yeah. This also, one of the other most effective things that I find when we become aware of this emotional intelligence is that, we become aware of the impulsive behaviors that we have. Someone says something, we shout back. We don't like something, we shut the door and we walk out. Or we go towards something before we have actually considered all the pros and cons. So, this impulse behavior very often becomes a habit. And we tend to do that more and more often. And it might get us into a lot of trouble, until we look at the fact that, we can control this. We can be aware and we can see that we need to give a little more time to see all the pros and cons of a certain situation. Yeah. And one of the main and important benefits that I have found with emotional intelligence is that no matter what happens in my life, no matter what is not working out, I have to keep my initiative. I have to take my next step. I have to keep that motivation going. Not expect that the world gives something to me without my own involvement. So how can we take initiative and help ourselves is one of the most important features of emotional intelligence. Now, we are all born with a certain amount of intelligence. Let's see, where does this emotional intelligence begin? And the seed of it, I want to make, I want to emphasize this. The seed of emotional intelligence starts in our childhood. Yeah. As we look around at our colleagues, at our family and, friends, we can see that some people have this emotional intelligence and others don't. How come? What happened? What happened in their lives that didn't happen in mine, for instance? So we need to look at the seed of this emotional intelligence. जैसे उसकी जड़ पे जाने की जरूरत है. So वो जड़ कहाँ है? Where is the seed of it? The seed is in our childhood. From the ages of the womb world to the age of 7, all experiences that we have, they get programmed in our memory. And then from then on, that program dictates itself and dictates what we are going to do. Most importantly, what this programming does is that it creates an image of ourselves. We tell ourselves that this is what I am, and this is what I will never be, or this is what I can never do. So let us see how this self-image is really formed. I'll give you an example. For instance, I was just talking to Atul, so let me just take Atul. Excuse me, Atul, for using you as an example. But say Atul is a young boy and he's, say, 6 years old or 7 years old, and he's joined a school, and the school has games that they play, and they are playing a ball game. Now, say, like he's learning how to play football, and the group in the class makes 2 teams, and he tries to learn and he tries to catch the ball, but he's unable to do that. So he keeps dropping his ball. Now, the other people in his group don't like that he's not able to catch that ball. So he's feeling very disturbed about that. And he tries to catch the ball again, and he can't do it. So the other people in his team, the other members of his group, say that they don't want him in their team because he's not a good player. So what does he do? He walks off, and that whatever they have said, that programming, that talk, that self-talk is going on in his head. And he says to himself that I'm not good at playing ball games, so I will not play that. Yeah. Then he's carrying his books and his bag and all that, the way kids have heavy bags these days. And he comes home and he drops his bag on the table, and there's a jug of water lying there, and that falls. So his mother shouts, Atul, I've told you so often that you're very clumsy. Why don't you be careful and look around you and do it right? So what has happened? It has got reinforced in Atul's mind that he is clumsy. So that continues, that becomes the program. It's like a computer program, you know. And as he grows up, now he's got a great job and he's in this big company where they're going to have a company match, and that is a ball game. So what does Atul do? What do you think he does? He says that I am not coming to work today. He avoids it. Now, these avoidances become so rigid in our minds, and we totally deny any possibility that something can change. We go through a lot of stress, right? Now, we all hear the word stress so much, all the time, everywhere. But how many of us really know how to define stress? So let's define it right here. Stress happens when the limit of what we can endure, what we can tolerate, when that is pushed a little bit also, we feel stress. Now, what has Atul done? He has formed a little image of himself that he's not good at ball games, and he lives inside that box. Now, when that box is stretched and he has to play a ball game, for instance, to get a promotion at work, or he has to do it to get a scholarship or something like that, he is going to be stressed because the limit of what he has decided is Atul is going to be stretched, And this is like, let's give an example of the body. When I'm not used to exercising, any muscle that I exercise is going to feel stretched and it's going to give me pain. So that is physical pain. There is emotional pain as well that we all go through because of all the stressors in our lives. Yeah. And I'm sure that as I'm speaking, you can go back in your childhood and you can see the many experiences that you had, which created certain programs within you, certain programs that even today in your life, they run your life, they run your choices actually. You know why? Because let's look at the brain, for instance. There is a small little, almost pea-sized area, which is here, or here, on top of the ear. And it is such a small little part of the brain, which is called your sensor board. It's like a board that filters everything that comes into the brain. So as it filters anything new that is coming, there will be a message that tells Atul, no, don't do this. Don't play that ball game. Because remember the last time you tried, there was such a lot of embarrassment and people laughed at you and you were not good at it. So don't even try. The brain doesn't allow you to change. I'm saying that again. The brain doesn't allow you to change. Yeah, it stops you because it thinks that change is going to be harmful. Yeah, that is where you need to edit, delete, and reprogram that brain. And that is possible to do because, we have had so many events in our lives that have been hurtful, stressful, embarrassing. And they have been looked at by us in specific ways only. And there's been intense emotion that we have felt, either anger or rejection or guilt or whatever. All of us feel that, not just some of us. Yeah. If you own up, you all feel the same way. And that is what makes us human, actually. So there is a method, there are many methods, and that is why I do the work I do. I help people disengage or de-attach that event or that way of looking, that perception of whatever happened to them, and present time. So that every time in present time we go through something, we don't have to automatically go back there and look at how we reacted earlier. No, we can change that programming. We can change that by the help of a professional too. That is why counseling is so important today. That is why emotional intelligence is as much or if more important than your intellectual intelligence. Okay? So, with counseling, we can go back to that programming, we can edit it, we can delete it, and we can reprogram ourselves, you know, because the past need not determine our future or our present, of course. Yeah. So let's look at what is it that we really are doing here. How many of us have been able to see ourselves as responsible for the condition of our lives? You know, this word responsibility, we hear so many times, all the time. Our parents have told us, our teachers have told us to be responsible. But I want to have you look at this word a little differently. I want to break up the word into response and ability. When we break up this word, we see that it is our ability to respond to a particular situation that makes us who we are. Okay? Got that? I'm going to say it again. We can respond, and we all have the ability to respond differently to our life situations. Let's look at what is working for us and what is not working for us. You know, whenever something is not working for us, like say we are sick, we go to a doctor. Say our vehicle is not working, we'll go to a mechanic. Say our finances are not profitable, we'll go to a finance manager. Then when our emotions are not working for us, why is it that we don't go to a professional? My whole career of over 30 years now has been focused on removing this stigma that we have. Being emotionally deficient for a period of time is not a permanent condition. It happens to all of us. It passes, it changes. With help, we can change our lives. Yeah. So I want to say this much for now. I would be happy to answer any questions that we.
There are 4 to 5 questions.
Okay. So I can read one here that says, how can we avoid the negative impact or vibes from people around us to prevent our mental health? Now, when you see someone who is impacting you with negative vibes, go within yourself, see where your protection lies. And also, as I said, recognize what this person is really doing and why. Why would someone want to hurt somebody else? Maybe they are so much in pain themselves. Maybe they are so hurt themselves. They have nothing else to give. With you raising your perceptions, with you giving yourself another choice, you can offer that choice to the person who is as negative as they are. That is what I have to say in a nutshell. Of course, the topic is, so vast that we can sit here and talk about it for hours and hours and hours. This is the tip of the iceberg that I can share with you today. And I'm so happy to be sharing this with younger people all the time so that they can start out their lives and they don't have to do it till, much, much, much later in their lives when the stress has been impacted and has become a habit, you know. As I said earlier, all ways of looking at ourselves are habits that have started in early childhood. Hmm? There's no sense in blaming anybody, no sense in blaming the school system or our academics or the environment or even our parents and our family systems. You know, parents did not learn how to be parents. They did the best they could. They gave you what they had. Yeah. Uh, it's your responsibility to that. Just because they haven't given you what you wanted, you can get it for yourself today. There's a lot available. I'm reading another message here. How should we deal with criticism and anger? See, that brings me to a very important point, and that is that every emotion, whether it is anger or whether it is depression or rejection or guilt, you know, it has two sides. Just like every, like night and day, or like yin and yang, like positive and negative. This whole world is made of polarities. There are two polarities to everything. So anger has another polarity. And the opposite of anger is a willingness. When we are not willing to do anything else or to help ourselves, we choose anger. Nobody can make us angry. I know it's tough to take. Nobody can make us angry. We make ourselves angry. So be responsible for finding another solution. Atul, you're here. I can see you. Any more questions, guys? Saul, can you read anything or know how to deal with rejection in business?
Yeah.
Someone says how to deal with criticism and rejection in the business environment. Yeah. Now, as I said earlier, rejection comes to all of us, or criticism comes to all of us. And yes, it does make us doubt ourselves. What am I worth? You know, what is my value, etc. So we can take it in two ways. One, let's look at that to learn anything from it. Is it possible to learn something there? If there is, then let me take the steps towards maybe increasing my skills, maybe changing something within myself, etc. If I feel that it's coming from a very negative space only to hurt me, then I can either move away from it, or I can help to raise the awareness first in myself and then in the person who's trying to hurt. You know, there are many ways to deal with rejection. But one of the main things that we can do for us is to maintain that interest within ourselves, because criticism can be extremely helpful too, or we can go into helpless rejection. So as I said, my one very, very important message to you today is that life always gives us a choice. Always, always, always. We may not like it. We may not want to do it. But that is where the solution lies, you know, in looking for new, different ways to find alternatives and options. And you know what I want to share with you before I leave is that whatever you have been before, whatever you already know about yourself lives in the back of the brain here, you know. And when we live our lives, we live 95% of the time in our back brains, in what we know before. If we are going to change and do something new and make a new choice, we have to come in the forebrain here. This is our Ajna Chakra, or our choice center. This is what is called the executive brain. And this is where we need to be to make a new choice. But unfortunately, only 5% of the time we live here. And 95% of the time we are in the back brain. Yeah. So thank you, guys. Someone has asked how meditation will help emotional intelligence. Meditation is the key. because it helps you focus. It helps you to differentiate what is important and what is not important. Okay? And with that, I think I've taken enough time. I would like to give it over to the managing committee. And thank you so much for your time and attention. And I hope to see you sometime. Where do I go?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
thank you, ma'am. The session was really great. But we'd like to ask you some questions. Would that be okay with
I've
you?
been answering them. Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
questions.
Hello,
with
ma'am.
me
Good
to,
morning.
continue with
Satyam.
us.
Hi, hi.
So, as we are running ahead of time, so can we decided to like short interview session with you? Like me and Kabir will be asking some questions now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so ma'am, first question would be ki you started Ajna Center back in 1987, and that too coming
Yeah.
from USA. Uh,
Yeah.
so I'd like to know, ma'am, mental health is not yet talked about as freely as other topics are. So what motivated you to start Ajna Center back in 1987?
Oh, that's an excellent question because I think that everything that happens in our lives, there is a gift in it. There is some positive part to it also. So I was very, very sick as a child. I could not function like all of you in many ways. And that forced me to look for alternatives because allopathic medicines were not working for me. I could not breathe as a child. I had great breathing difficulty. And so I could not live a very normal life. And I was forced to look at alternative methods like detoxification, fasting, Ayurveda, meditation. And I also learned through my own experience that this breathing, especially the lungs, are a psychosomatic disease. You know, it is as much emotional as it is physical, you know. So I needed to look within myself as to what are my emotions that are causing this restriction. Where do I feel trapped in my life? You know, what is controlling me that I'm not willing to face? हाँ, मैं क्या नहीं देखना चाहती हूँ? तो उस सब चीजों के लिए मुझे I had to start this study mainly for myself. I basically wanted to help myself. And I think that all people who are passionate about what they do, they really, it's a very personal thing. You know, अगर मुझे फर्क पड़ता है, तो I am going to teach that with the kind of passion because now it's my experience. I'm sitting here today because of that illness. And that is how Ajna started. Ajna, by the way, the word Ajna itself is the, as I told you, it's the Center for Learning in the Body over here. Yeah, it's the center of our new learnings. So if I had to learn something new, I had to see कि मुझ में क्या है और मेरी क्या value है, या what worth do I give myself? लोग तो मुझे कुछ भी दे देंगे, आप कुछ भी कहोगे, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत अच्छा, but until I can see बहुत अच्छा in the mirror, it doesn't work. Yeah. Now we don't grow up learning. कोई हमें कहता नहीं है कि look in the mirror and praise yourself. Look in the mirror and see value. हाँ? अपने आप को शाबाश देना अपना ही काम है ना, और कौन देगा? So does that answer you?
Yes, ma'am.
Atul?
Yes, ma'am. Totally. From the story, I can totally relate to the line that goes, ki, change begins at home.
Yep, absolutely.
This initiative you started by yourself. So,
And
ma'am,
you know what? Our experience is all we all have, really. We don't have anything else. Huh? So
Yes.
that is what is authentic. नहीं तो इट्स बुकिश, जो सीखा है किसी और ने कहा है, हाँ, पर वो
Yes.
तुम्हारा नहीं है.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to, it takes a lot of courage to walk this path of experience, you know, isn't it?
And also, ma'am, since 1987, what society for addressing mental health? Is it the
Repeat
same? Have we moved? Hello, ma'am.
Repeat that.
What are the changes that has come into society in addressing mental health problems in
Oh.
1997 and now?
No, 1987, there was nothing. In fact, when I started, everyone told me that I would never succeed. Because who is going to come and talk about their Rona Donas to me? And why? We can do it in the family. क्या है उसमें? ठीक हो जाएगा, कोई जरूरत नहीं है, ये तो सबको होता है, you know, हमेशा ऐसा ही सुनते हैं ना. So anyway, it was a tough ride. I'm being honest with you, it wasn't easy. But today, along with the amount of information that everybody has, my clientele, all the people who come to me, are beginning about your age. More and more younger people are beginning to come for not, crisis situations. They will come to learn, okay, how can I be happier? I want to be more courageous. You know, I want to learn how to be more generous. I'm not. Or that is affecting my office relationships. Or my girlfriend doesn't like me because I don't do this or that. You know what I mean? So everything has changed now, also because of the scientific discoveries that we have. Science has supported me. Science and all the neuroscience, you know, the science of the brain, has really helped in seeing how can we bring about changes within the brain structure. It's not permanent, as I told you. IQ may be permanent, but EQ has its supreme benefits, and that you can learn. It's a skill. Plus, quantum mechanics has really done the biggest favor to my work, because it has told me that Smith and Atul and I, we are all magnets. We attract to ourselves whatever we express. So if I express anger, guess what am I going to attract to myself?
Anger.
You bet. I don't want to act. I sit back and think, you know, this anger has become a habit. अभी वो चलता नहीं, बदलना पड़ेगा अपने को. So we have to go back that little area over here in the brain, and we have to see कि नहीं भाई, ये filter तो बदली कर दो. और कर सकते हैं. You know, till now we believe that there's nothing I can do about it. Maybe I come from a family of alcoholics, or I come from a family of depressives, so I also have to be that. No, we can do it different. And that is evolution. Evolution is not just academic evolution. There is an evolution of the spirit. There is spiritual evolution, which is happening at the same time as this pandemic. Isn't it amazing how life gives us everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Bas?
So, ma'am, one question like there is a, we all know that there is a difference between the stress and depression, but many people just come and say कि यार stressed होते हैं उन लोग and they start saying कि नहीं मुझे depression हो रहा है. So can you brief about that two different things? Like, I guess they are two different things. Stress and
First
depression.
is the stress, of course. First is the stress that, you know, I am being stretched. मैं इतना नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ और मुझे बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है ये. That is what stress is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, depression is the reaction to that stress. कि मैं कर ही नहीं पाऊंगा, आज नहीं, कल नहीं, अगले साल भी नहीं. Yeah. So when someone comes for counseling, especially with the method that I teach, I test your body to find out where the stress is. Where is it located? Just like a computer. We look for the file, the emotional file that has the virus in it. This body is like a computer. Yeah. It has various files. So what is the point of having so much information in this body or in this computer अगर हम उसे decode नहीं कर सकते? ठीक है? We have to go to that file and we have to see क्या information क्या है. ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
That is what counseling does. कि to make us self-responsible. Yeah. You know what, Smith? What happens is that we are never taught how to deal with depression.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ? और सब सब्जेक्ट्स हमें आ गए, हमें डिग्रीज मिल गई, बहुत कुछ कर लिया इस जिंदगी में, पर हाउ डू आई हैंडल माय फ्रस्ट्रेशन, हाउ डू आई हैंडल माय गिल्ट और डिसअपॉइंटमेंट? माय गॉश, किसने मुझे सिखाया था कि डिसअपॉइंटमेंट को क्या करना है? ठीक है, तो वो हम समझते ही नहीं कि वो भी एक लर्नेबल सब्जेक्ट है. This is a learnable skill. To me, I think that this subject should be at the start of schooling, in the very early ages of our lives. Okay? Chalo, shall we stop now?
Ma'am, one final question I'd like to ask you. Ma'am, recently there's been a lot of people confessing about their phobias. Maybe it's the fear of being in an embarrassment position. So,
Yeah.
how does a person decide if he's in the first stage or the last stage, or if he's moving up stages? Because these conditions can get worsened up.
Yeah, you
So
can.
point that- yes, ma'am.
Yeah. First of all, as I said, that everything requires a profession. I mean, it is a profession, so it requires some professional help. So that is where the stigma comes in. That whenever you are aware that this is not working for me now, जैसे मुझे टेम्परेचर है, या I've got a cold or a cough, I go to a doctor, right? So first of all, you decide that, am I able to help myself? If not, let me read up on it. There's a lot of information available. Let me take some steps towards it. Whatever the counseling says, even on the net, go there and see for yourself. Get interested, that something is possible. Yeah. Now, especially for phobias may need more work. Phobias may need neuro-linguistic programming. They might need hypnotherapy. They might need deeper work. That is also professionally possible. So you can go there and you can find a professional and help yourself. What difference does it make whether it's 1 stage or 2 stage or 3 stage? And the stages you can determine by how much it is affecting your effectiveness. How much is it affecting your everyday life? Are you being able to make productive choices? Are you healthy? Do you have enough energy? Are your relationships good?
Yes,
And if
ma'am.
they are not, then this is a skill that you need to learn. A subject that you never studied. It's not your fault. It's nobody's fault, actually. Yeah. So no shame and no blame. Yeah. That is where we are. No shame and no blame.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
just one final question before we end. Last one. So can we stop overthinking or over analyzing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, is it possible? So what can we do? Like there are many people who have been facing this like overthinking issues and have ruined the entire structure and all of thinking.
Okay. Overthinking, like everything else, becomes a habit. It's a habit because we are avoiding doing something else. जो हमें नहीं करना है ना, उससे अवॉइड करके, डिनाई करके, हम जैसे सर्फिंग ऑन द नेट, all day on Facebook, all day on YouTube, listening to TED Talks, etc. But without action, yeah, there has to be a balance of the information that you are getting and your ability to differentiate the information. Balance is an art. It is an art that we can learn. Okay. Now, in this manner, I cannot tell you, okay, follow these 5 easy steps and you will become enlightened. It's hard work.
That's not possible. Yeah.
It's hard work.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
why avoid hard work? Remember when you were learning how to write? You wrote A, B, C, and the teacher kept saying, do up, down, up, down. And for 6 months, you were doing only that. That was hard, right?
Yeah.
The same way. Why not? What is it that you want? A lot of times I ask people, what do you want? Very few people can tell me that. They tell me what they don't want.
Actually,
Everybody says that. But then I say, okay, what are you willing to do about it? क्या करना चाहते हो? पर मैम मैं तो कुछ कर ही नहीं पाता. मेरे पास तो कोई choices नहीं है. Really?
like we expect more instead of accepting.
Okay, guys, I gotta go now.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kabir.
It was a great. Thank you, ma'am. It was a great session.
Yeah.
Starting
And
from,
listen, before I stop, I would like you to visit my website. Everybody who's listening,
Yes,
my
ma'am.
website is AJNA Ajna Center CENTER.org. Do share it with your group, Atul. And
Yeah, so I will like my team to post it in the chat box,
Yes.
so everyone can visit it. Thank you.
I hope to hear from you again.
yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It was really
All
great having
right.
you here.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.